I'm a sicko.
Isn't that the secession quote? Are you a sicko? What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Loser's Lounge. Man, yeah, there wasn't even no, it's a trombone. Yeah, it wasn't even a trombone today, man. I'll tell you what, man, our vibes are low.
Low vibes.
This is, sometimes we come in and we should gather around everybody. We're going to suffer together. Right now, I think Eric in particular needs you guys to kind of hug him. He needs a hug.
Guys, I need a hug.
You do need a hug. He's playing all the sad songs, his saddest one.
No, this is my rebound. Well, I guess you're right. This is a bittersweet song.
They're all
Our
bittersweet.
day will come.
It's a bittersweet game, only it wasn't at all sweet. It was just bitter.
Straight bitter.
Nuggets fall to the San Antonio Spurs 116-97 in a game that was the red carpet was rolled out, the table was set, the food was prepared, everything was ready. Nuggets just had to eat. They did not. They starved themselves and they fall. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, though, America's top-rated sportsbook. We didn't even hit our bets tonight, did we, Dev?
Yes, we did.
Okay, well, at least we hit our
Dev's
bets.
like, what do you think this is, dude?
We hit our bets?
I'm not the Nuggets.
Yes, we hit our bets.
All right, well, at least we made some money in our misery today. That's always great. Over here, though, I got Brendan Vogt.
Checking out the ad reads, ready to get prepared. No, I still don't got it.
My God. Over here, I got... what? Over here, I got Deal. I was going to be really mean. Compare you to the Nuggets bench tonight.
Wow.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Over here, I got D-line.
Guys, all the members of the Denver Nuggets are bad at basketball with the one glaring exception of Nikola Jokic, who's the best player in the land. He's the MVP.
I'm going to shield Aaron Gordon from a little bit of your hatred here.
Aaron Gordon was fine. Jokic was divine. Everyone else can go ahead and...
hey, careful
Aaron
now.
Gordon had 18 and 13, 2, 1, and 2.
That's fine. Whatever. I don't want to...
Yeah.
That's not handing out flowers tonight. Nobody gets flowers.
Nobody gets any flowers. Not
Except
even
for
Jokic.
Jokic, dude.
Over here, what about Superstar Dev?
Dude, Dev can have all the flowers.
All right, you get all the flowers. Over here, Superstar Dev.
I mean, I hope that this show goes as many minutes as Jokic played today.
41 minutes. I think we could do it.
And that might be too long.
We might be too long. We might get as fatigued as Jokic did. No way to put it. I mean, honestly, the table was set for this one. That's the thing that I think is such a bummer. Like, had the Wolves won or whatever, like you look at this one, you think, okay, obviously it would have been worse if the Wolves would have won. But this one was the one where it was like, you know what? This could be the end of our misery.
Jesus Christ.
Tonight could have been the end of all of this like anxiety, this angst, this uncomfortableness. The Nuggets just win, and guess what? We get basically 11 days off where we're just like, nothing happening? Cool.
No, that would be the easy way.
That would be the easy
and
way.
the Nuggets don't know the easy way.
I love the
Honestly,
idea.
it wouldn't have been that easy of a way. They still made us sweat for 80 games. It would have been nice if we got 2 off.
Listen, as much as I've enjoyed it, as good as I think they've been at their peak, this team's best playoff series win is in 6 games. They don't know the easy way. Even when they're good, it's not the easy
this
way.
This is definitely coming back down to Sunday, isn't it?
For
Maybe
sure.
overtime. It definitely. It just
Buckle
has
up,
to.
pal.
Buckle up. Oh my God. Do you guys want to do the?
It's called the quick.
Hey, let's break
guys-
this. Let's break this down real fast. What do you say?
You want to do the slam dunk recap here?
The 5 slammer recap.
All right, Cal, cue up that graphic for the fast breakdown. We're gonna run through it here. This is where we recap the game, of course, and remind everybody if you didn't see it. Yeah, I know. God, this is actually like reliving. We're gonna have some PTSD here. Nuggets got great looks early. Actually, if you want to know this game, like sometimes the beginning of the game, you know this, Dev. Sometimes the first like 5 minutes of a game set the tone emotionally for what it's going to be. And tonight, the Nuggets, first of all, they were very flat. Like this was a game where Denver, I don't know, they thought they were going to roll the ball out and win or something. It was a desperate Spurs team. But the Nuggets got great looks for 5 minutes and didn't make any of them, other than Jokic. But like they were just getting great look. Just couldn't convert. Dunks, nope, couldn't get them in.
They weren't hitting dunks.
They weren't hitting dunks.
Two missed dunks.
Even Jokic, who was absolutely dominant for most of this game, even that first quarter where he had 17 points, he missed like 2 or 3 that you were like shocked at. Like in a weird way, he had 17. You felt like he was going to have 25, but he just missed a couple bunnies. Pirtle picked up 2 fouls very quick. Jokic was going at him, man. Like Jokic tonight, I loved the aggressiveness with which he played. I loved it. It was fantastic. He ran out of gas. We'll get to that. But he had 17 points, played all 12 minutes. Malone just let him ride. This was a game where it was very clear to me that Malone was looking at it as the punctuation. Like, win this one, Jokic gets to rest a lot.
Sure.
And it didn't work out the way. 32-30 Spurs. This is a beautiful song. This is the one I played. Here's the Zombies. You know this one? This is a great one. Little piano. It's for a pop song. It's actually an intricate little riff here. Second quarter, zero.
Is this by the Monkeys?
This is, oh, you idiot! You son of a! You're gonna make
Nice.
Zero defensive stops in this entire game.
My God.
I mean, just like we're going to talk a lot about. I'm setting the parameters here for things we're going to talk about. But the Nuggets defense tonight was a joke. And then offensively, just so many missed layups, missed dunks. I don't know what was happening. Like, it's almost like there was a curse on the Nuggets tonight that they couldn't make the easy stuff happen.
Denver nightlife, undefeated.
Yeah, Spurs started pulling away, and then Malone gets attacked. Jokic gets attacked. There was 2 missed dunks. And what do you know? The Nuggets are down 20 points at the half, 64-44. They were down 20 points in a game that was handed to them. Life was terrible. Third quarter, you thought, okay, Nuggets have to come over and dominate right away. Did not happen. Nuggets still stuck in the mud out of the gates. It was back and forth, like nobody could really do anything until finally they got a run going with about 8 minutes to 6 minutes. Nuggets made a quick work, cut it to 10. Jokic was just like being so aggressive. It was a very fast-paced game, and they cut it all the way down to 85-79. 6 points. Jokic plays the whole third. 6 points. 20 points down to 6. You think, perfect. They did it. Now you just got to, not blow this. Bench comes in, immediately blows it. Immediately blows it back to double digit or deck to 9, and Jokic comes back in with 8 minutes and 30 seconds. He didn't get a rest. In either half, he did not get a rest tonight. He comes back in, couldn't make anything himself. He went cold in the fourth. Nuggets role players miss everything. They just couldn't do anything. They couldn't make up the ground, and of course, the Spurs end up making enough shots. You have to tip your hat to them. I thought the Nuggets defense picked up a little bit towards the end, but the Spurs started making contested shots. So, it's one of those things where sometimes you allow them to get confident, allow them to get momentum, and then they make the hard ones. So the Nuggets dropped this one. I thought it was interesting that Michael Malone kept Jokic in even when they were down 20 or 15 with 2 minutes, 3 minutes to go. Malone timeout, hack a Pirtle. He kept trying to go for the win. And it tells me that the Nuggets viewed this game as hey, we can do this, and if we do it, we get to rest, and they just didn't do it, and it scares me. Dev, what's your big takeaway from this one?
My biggest takeaway is that they really messed up a really good opportunity to clinch. Just not a complete game whatsoever. We continue to go back to the bench unit, but it was the starters that really struggled in this game. Really, everyone outside of Jokic and Aaron Gordon just could not get themselves going, and also that whole defensive lack thereof is just really starting to bite them, and it's getting to the playoffs where it's going to be really good teams. Luckily, Denver's been playing against these not so good teams going down the home stretch, but the Spurs are still a desperate team. They still have some life, and they wanted it more than Denver. So Denver just has to try to get something going on that defensive end, and now it's scary because the offense is not there. So just not a good game at all. Just very lackadaisical, and I felt like that was an opportunity that they would close it out.
The lackadaisical part is the part that kills me because guys miss shots sometimes. But you know what? When push comes to shove, tonight was a night where it didn't matter actually if guys hit shots or not. Tonight was a night that's we can guarantee a win by just locking in defensively. Don't give them anything easy. The Spurs are not a good team. They're not a horrible team, but there is a reason that they are 34-45. They're fighting for a play-in spot. Yes, they were desperate, but guess what? They're not good. And they were missing DeJounte Murray, so they were actually even short-handed. And you think, don't put this on your offense about whether or not you're going to make shots. Put it on your defense, and nobody showed up for it tonight. Even Jokic tonight, be honest with you, was not great defensively, and nobody showed up for it on that end of the court tonight. And it's so frustrating, so disappointing. Eric, what's your big takeaway?
My big takeaway is that we keep watching the same goddamn movie over and over. Now that we're coming down the stretch, and we're all right, just got to restore order here. The Nuggets put themselves in a great position. They're in control of their own destiny. All they need to do is beat this shorthanded team, missing their best stars, that really has no business being in the same room as a team led by the reigning MVP Nikola Jokic. All they have to do is take care of business, and they don't take care of any part of business.
Right.
They're just whatever. They come out I'm so deeply disgusted with what I saw from the lion's share of the Denver Nuggets tonight. Monte Morris was atrocious. Will Barton went back to his unwinning ways.
The thing about Barton is he took 12 shots tonight, and I don't think he was gunning it. One of the things people don't like is him gunning it.
No, but
it was the defense, and it was not making shots.
It was him
defense,
getting rubbed off on every single screen. His player or the guy who's supposed to be defending, getting into the lane, doing whatever he wanted. Nobody else could contest. It's just disgusting stuff like that. when you're in our position where you don't have to play the game, but like you have to devote like part of your life to watching this game, talking about it, thinking about it, and you're like, you assholes. Like this is not just fucking you. Like there's so many other people involved in your lack of effort, and you're not caring, and you like thinking you can just roll in and like, you know, just do whatever. Like Austin Rivers was so criminally terrible tonight.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many guys that you're just watching. You're like, what do you think you guys are doing? You've been playing for 5 months, leading up to this, and like now you're at a place where you can actually just put a nice punctuation on it. You can actually like have a good feeling and sort of move forward. And like, no focus, no effort, two dunks that were missed. Like it was,
I think 3 actually.
It was just like so deeply disgusting. I'm like so like out on the Denver Nuggets at this exact moment in time. I'm just like so grossed out by them.
It is frustrating because there was a moment to start the fourth quarter where the
block that Isaac guy. Just get him out of my life. Just get him out of my life. I don't need him in my life.
But there was a moment there to start the fourth quarter where the Nuggets had cut it to 6, and you look up and Minnesota was down 20, and you thought like, here it is, the chance. Yeah, like to your point, this was the chance to finally feel good, and it was right there. And then it was all downhill for Denver. What's your big takeaway, Vogt?
Yeah, it's the perimeter defense. I mean, this was a night where Austin Rivers was on the floor. And he's one of the guys that can get a stop. And other than him, and it included him tonight, you know, when is the last time they stayed in front of anyone?
God.
Monte, Barton, Gordon too, who I think was better tonight. But
it's an epidemic, dude. Like
they just can't stay in front of anyone. And I don't think that's the biggest thing. Like the offense coming and going is really tough, but they still have Jokic at the end of the day, and they still have produced the 6th best offense, at least going into tonight. They'll find ways to score in across the series, but it is going to be really hard to imagine them winning any series given the perimeter defense, and that's been the story for the last, for the final third of this season, and it just hasn't gotten any better, and it's hard to imagine how it does get better.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things are my takeaway, but the big thing is just the defense because, again, you can't count on making shots every night, and especially this group. Like, there's not great shooters, all over the court or this or that. There's not really creators. There's not – some nights you're going to – and the Spurs are very good at taking away, like, inside. They're very good at taking away the paint, that area, and Denver was struggling inside the three-point line tonight. So you can't always count on that. What you can count on is, can you just get stops? Can you defend? And it really leads me, like – this season is so difficult to analyze, make big picture. Like I see people make big picture proclamations about, Michael Malone or this or that. I'm like, guys, this season is very hard because you're missing what was your actual team. But I do feel like there's a couple big ones, big takeaways I have. And one of them is I've always thought since Jonathan Jarks wrote the article about how Jokic should or the Nuggets should copy the Mavs, how they did with Dirk Nowitzki, where Dirk's so good he can carry and on offense, just give him elite defensive talent around it and trust him. I look at that and I go, I agree. I think Murray and Jokic, not just Jokic, but Murray and Jokic is enough. Like, it's honestly enough. You need a bunch of defensive players because what you have this season, why it was proof of concept is you didn't give Jokic good defenders, but you didn't give him good offensive players either. Like, you gave him, Monte's good, Barton, just inconsistent, whatever. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this team should be able to win games just with Jokic on offense and the rest of the guys on defense, but you don't have that. So I look around at the roster, and I think that's the one thing I would take away is you don't need some of the offensive talent you have on this roster because it's inconsistent anyway.
And but you call it talent is like a gross misuse of that word.
Well, what I mean, like Monte Morris is better than what he played tonight.
No, I'm down bad. Bro.
But what I would mean is here's what I would mean. Dev, is Monte an offensive player or defensive player?
Neither.
He's kind of a little bit of both, but he's not especially one. Like, is Will Barton an offensive player or a defensive player?
I don't know now anymore.
But
it's not defensive.
But he's not a defensive player, and also offensively,
yeah.
like sometimes yes, sometimes no. So that's my point: is can you give the Nuggets the A version of Austin Rivers? You give him Aaron Gordon, and can you give him one other, whatever another good defensive wing is? Can you give that, and then just trust that Jokic is good enough offensively to get those guys 40 good points, and him and Murray will take the rest? I honestly think the answer is yes. And nights like tonight are the thing that Jokic tonight was up for the task of carrying them home. Just either make a couple shots or get some stops. Just didn't do it.
And Yeah, it's both of those things. And Jokic was gassed in this one, and it wasn't to me because he took a career-high 35 shot attempts. It's because he was guarding half of the Spurs at once, every single possession. He was very active tonight on that end. But when not a single player in the lineup can stay in front of the ball, it just requires a lot of repositioning and a lot of covering and a lot of exertion on that end. And I thought that particularly, more than just 40 minutes in a vacuum or 35 shot attempts, it was that aspect that robbed him of his legs in the fourth quarter, and that's clearly what happened later.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about the fact that he was playing both offense and defense tonight. He took all of the shots pretty much for them, and also on the defensive end, he's extremely exhausted, and you could actually see it tonight in different ways than usual. And I think that's what makes it way more impressive that Denver is the 6th best offense, because there is so much inconsistencies. There is so much of none of those guys are offensive guys on Denver's team. They really are built around one guy just doing it all for them and it working out. But that's why it makes, a perfect sense that if you surround Jokic with specialists of something else, like we already talked about the shooters, if you surround him with shooters, it makes it a lot more easier for him, especially for gravity purposes. Defense, I think that would be even better. It'd be more scary. Like if you throw him in the middle of that Raptors team or something like that, where he's the focus and he's doing everything on that end, he gets to take those nights off. He gets to take those plays off, like Dirk Nowitzki when he was playing really well, where he's exerting that on the other end of the floor. So like we've been seeing incredible Jokic, like legendary like type things right now, and that's with him having to play on both ends of the floor and really be huge on that end. When is a guy going to step in and say, okay, let's help him out in different ways? Or even front office.
The thing is, that group last year like probably could have scored enough points that this issue is mitigated. It's just not going to be the case for this group on the floor right now. So there is still some hope. Even San's massive roster overhaul, whatever, like the obvious thing, which is you get your 2 best weapons back. Everyone on the other end has to work a little harder defensively.
That's the big part of it, yes.
Yeah, that guys can't just, that everyone has to work a little harder to hang with the Nuggets. And so that's still super on the table.
This is how basketball works. The offense and defense are not separate. They're together. Like it's not a coincidence that the Nuggets got outscored 32-14, meaning they gave up a ton of points. They scored very little. Those things sometimes go hand in hand. Third quarter, Denver scored 35. They only allowed 21. Sometimes, again, they go hand in hand. But tonight, this was such a golden opportunity. I'll tell you guys my belief. This is my belief. In fact, can I go Charles Barkley on this?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Charles Barkley makes guarantees, and he's always wrong. That's what I'm going to make a guarantee that's wrong.
Guarantee.
I think Jamal Murray's back on Thursday.
Whoa!
I think the plan.
Why would you do that?
You're just going to empty this clip, huh?
I'm going to keep emptying it. No, I'm being serious about this. I think the plan, and part of why the Nuggets pushed so hard for tonight was what a perfect opportunity to sort of like, okay, we get to relax here and bring him back for a couple games and this or that. I still think it happens. I still think Jamal Murray comes back Thursday. But what a bummer that now he comes back in what will be a must-win game, rather than what could have been a we don't need anything. Yoke's going to play 25 minutes, mostly with you, and we can just kind of work it back and see how you look, see how you feel, do all this. Now it's, hey, wanted to get you back, want to get some reps, but we can't afford a 5-point slide. Like you're going to be out there, but you can't screw anything up. It just completely changes things, and I think that it's such a bummer, man. That to me. And I thought that going in, I just had, maybe kind of heard a couple things here or there. Thought, okay, this is cool. Nuggets could put it away. And then you watch how that game was coached. Michael Malone going for it, and you think, that's for sure what is happening. They know the stakes right here of they can buy themselves 2 preseason games for Jamal Murray, and yet they threw it away.
I love the idea, though. Like, we're like, man, we can't count on Jamal. Like, we might get a 5-point slide. Get out there, Austin Rivers.
Bryn Forbes or whatever.
I am so down on the Nuggets.
You are
right
so
now.
down,
I'm like,
Dad. They broke you tonight.
I am so disgusted with what I saw this evening. Like normally got some smiles, maybe some jokes. Fuck you, Vogt. Fuck you, Devin. Fuck you, Adam. I'm out, dude.
It's like Josh Primo and Devin Vassell, and like these guys aren't like they're NBA players. They're all right, but it's not like they were getting murdered by these like brilliant basketball players.
Josh Richardson also hit 4 contested threes that like
at the very end he did. That's what I mean.
He's never hit in his life.
But that was this is what I was talking about. This is why how I did the recap was they played around so long that then those shots kill you.
No, there's no doubt.
It's the same thing with like you just got guys out there. I mean, Keita Bates-Diop was a positive tonight.
I mean, listen, like the last 3 games, the difference was the win was against a team in the Lakers that's not going to outwork you. Right. But the Wolves and the Spurs, desperate, are going to come in and outwork the Nuggets at home right now. I didn't think it would look this bad. I thought the Nuggets would lose this game because of that dynamic. They're just getting outworked right now, and that that win against the Lakers was really nice, but it's certainly not like ointment on that wound, because it's not like the Lakers test you in that way.
Right. Let's hit our first break. On the other side, we also have to get to the bench tonight, which again could not be trusted. Fully outside the circle of trust right now, that second unit.
By the way, you want to realize how few expressions you really know? Host a live show 5 times a week.
You say the same.
Ointment in the wound? I was just picking words out of thin air. I don't.
The real ointment in the wound right there.
Well, to be fair, that doesn't. It sounds like it's a
fly in the
colloquialism.
ointment.
But that sounds like colloquialism, but that's actually what you use ointment for.
No, that's just literally. No, I know, but that's not an expression.
I know, but you could actually just have invented. That's what it. Whatever.
You know what my favorite expression is? Go by Jesus. Go by.
Wow, he's on fire.
Go by the Mile High City Copper Lager beer from Breckenridge
This is
Brewery.
the like you threw it to him for the ad reads. He's stepped out of bounds.
That was a straight Austonian effort.
He just threw him the ad reads.
Boogie brick in a dunk. Haha, I'm trying. Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR.
Why the hell was he out of bounds on that anyway?
City
Like, what
Copper
the hell
Lager.
was he doing?
Yo, if you're gonna wear,
why are you out of bounds as a spot up shooter?
and if you're gonna wear bright pink shoes that show very clearly, Vogt. Please continue with your ad read.
Just was standing there out of bounds.
On the bright side, my flannel appears to have been a safer choice than the jacket, t-shirt, and hat and sneakers.
You
I
should have
wore
honestly
last time.
gone full thief today.
I thought about just not wearing a shirt.
full
but
criminal. No
Take
shirt.
it off, bro. Take it off. What else?
Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR at Mile High City. Copper Lager is the Nuggets-themed beer with that sleek new Nuggets. Well, it's not new anymore. Nuggets logo on the can. If you want to know where to find it, use the Breck Beer Locator. Google that. It's going to ask you where you live, what you're looking for, and you tell it that, and it'll tell you where to go.
So it says Vogt put the THC ointment in his wound. That's how he got high.
Yeah, it turns out didn't get high off that. I was
It's actually
waiting.
his body reacting to the lotion, not even the THC.
I was
just
waiting for it to kick in, but wish I was high
actually
watching
infected.
that
You should probably.
first half.
Yeah, put some ointment in that wound.
Anyway, Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR. Check out the Mile High City Copper Lager, and check out their farmhouse too. It's still open. You can order food from pickup as well. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 to 8 p.m. For pickup, use code DNVR to save $5. And then DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Golf season's in full swing. Get in on all the action on the course at DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 on golf's first major and get $25 in free bets. For every birdie Bryson DeChambeau sinks in the first round, DraftKings Sportsbook is a top-rated app with tons of ways to bet on golf. Get even closer to what's happening in the tournament and bet on who will win golf's first major, single-round matchups, and more. DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable. Best of all, deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Bet $5 to win $25 in free bets for every one of Bryson's birdies in the first round. Join the action for golf's first major with code DNVR. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Alrighty, back here. Segment 2. The bench unit is really is pretty frustrating right now because, again, this was a night. I think Malone was going to play Jokic a lot of minutes, and I have to give him credit. Like we've talked about, Jokic not playing nearly enough this season. He's kind of paced him out. Tonight he went for it. 40 minutes is a lot. Jokic got tired, but I don't think he planned to play him 40. I think he planned to play him like 37, 36. A lot more than usual, but not this many. What happened was that second unit just once again was not up to the challenge. And this is the thing with the second unit that worries me is, once again, it's not about can you go out there and drain some threes, can you do, like, those things are all great. That unit just needs to, like, be physical. They need to defend. They need to, like, go out there and just buy minutes. And I'm telling you, that's the part that concerns me is, do they know that's the role? Because I do feel like you almost watch them play and you're like, do you realize your job is to up the intensity here defensively and on the boards and everything else, not get out, rebound, get beat in transition and those kind of things. So tonight, part of what happened tonight, DeMarcus Cousins, 1 of 7, You get
Damn it. One of those 7 was an attempted dunk, by the way.
Jermichael Green, 13 minutes, 2 rebounds. Like this is what happened tonight. That's why you had to give Jokic such a short rest in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you already talked about it. The fact that the second unit is giving no spark, no energy. There wasn't even one guy that kind of stood out to try to bring some type of anything to the team. And that's the problem. You're supposed to be trying to buy minutes and also try to give, the starters, especially Jokic, more time where he can rest. Going in and fouling the entire time is not good. Going in and giving up a big lead or just them extending the lead where it's forcing him to have to be on the court a little bit more, it does put you in a very, very tough spot. And that's not only a DeMarcus Cousins thing. Everyone else has to be on the same page, and they don't seem to be on the same page on either end of the floor. It's not like they're knocking down shots and they're like, in track meet type games, but they're also not slowing it down and being a grinded out team where the defense is where you're going to win it. And with that lineup, that's where you would think it is. They have a little mixture of everything. They have the speed at the guard positions. They have the big man that can battle inside, and they don't utilize that or go to it. It seems like they're going away from what their bread and butter was, which was getting their ball in the hands of their best player. So maybe Bones Highland at times, and then also there was a time that Cousins had the ball in his hands and everything was working around there. They just don't have that anymore. Right. And I don't know who to even put the blame on. It's a real concerted effort, like a whole group thing.
But this is kind of my point with the second unit is, at the times where they've looked really good, it's been because they've looked like stars who are just coming off the bench. I mean, a lot of people have said, Boogie and Jokic, the most talented 1-2 center, in terms of talent or this or that. But here's the thing. A bench has a very specific role, especially in a game like this where it's going to be limited. And that is like they are role players. You need them to be physical. You need them to try super hard. You need them just to be like locked in. And that's just, it wasn't that tonight. It was, they didn't have that energy, which is what Denver needed. I mean, what was it? Yoke came back in like 9.5 minutes in the second quarter. He left for like 2 minutes and then had to come back in.
He played like 8 minutes tonight.
No.
Well, he got himself into foul trouble in no time at all, which was part of it as well. And then also were he to stay on the floor any longer in that first stint, then that game is well lost before halftime. I just think 100% of bad bench games since they've acquired Boogie correlate to Boogie himself playing poorly. And tonight,
he's such a loud member of that.
Such a loud member.
It's true, but he only played 8 minutes.
No, I know, but he was disastrous in those 8 minutes, and Bones didn't have the juice tonight, and that's just that's really most of the second unit. And by the way, Bryn Forbes, who when this unit was doing their thing, was a significant component of that. Malone said he was going to get him back out there tonight, bench after 6 minutes and 51 seconds.
He was literally the only player in plus territory.
Kind of
plus
funny.
1.
So without him, just in terms of the offensive stuff, it just feels like Bones or Boogie and maybe dunker spot Jermichael. But if those two guys don't have it, and it's been the last week or two, this bench has really sort of fallen back to earth, and it's tough.
You hear this one, Deb?
Yeah. This is the one.
You love this one?
This is the one for me.
That's I can't get enough of this one. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's a lot of Nirvana lately, huh?
That's all I hear. Even when I lay down in bed. That's all I hear is Nirvana.
Just jamming to some Nirvana. Are we worried at all? I mean, Bones, I still think Bones makes a lot of important plays, but it's pretty clear that he'll get to the rim once or twice a game. He'll get a lot of open threes, and if he doesn't knock them down, it's just so loud. Tonight he didn't knock them down. He had some great looks. How do we evaluate Bones tonight?
I don't think worried at all because, there's games that he is going to be able to hold up that second unit. And that's a lot to ask for a rookie on any team, for him to be one of the sole purposes that the second unit is able to score or able to get going. The shots are not falling right now. But how can other people assist him in those regards, or how can they bring that type of spark or energy? He is still part of that rotation. He got to play 17 minutes in the game, especially in a game that Monte Morris was really, really struggling in. He does have to bring it a bit more. But if you're putting all of your eggs in a rookie on a second unit, that's what you need to be worried about. That's what you have to go through.
About putting eggs into Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too.
Everyone is. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it, but also, you do want him to get back into that rhythm and into that zone because he just was, and that's when the Nuggets were playing their best.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, really, the fact that we're talking about, why Bones Highland wasn't able to carry the bench out of the mire and the muck that they created from themselves. It says everything about the bench. Like, what are you talking about? This is a rookie. This. He's been playing great, but like he's a rookie. I mean,
I know they need him to be more than that, but you are right that he is that.
He is that, but it's like this. Like that's a complete indictment of the veteran players that play on this bench that are so wildly inconsistent. I mean, God damn it. There were moments where in this season, the bench for like a weird, like bizarro stretch of the season where somehow the Nuggets' strength. And I don't know what happened. I mean, granted, it's that thing that happens all the time with the bench where it's like just different players all the time.
Yeah.
And they can't find a rhythm. Like Jeff Green's out, so that means,
they really need Jeff Green back. I know it's weird to say, but they really need Jeff Green back.
They do. And then Austin Rivers switches into the starting unit. Austin Rivers is in a bad spot right now. He needs.
He hit a couple threes.
I honestly thought he just had a 4-minute disaster.
Yeah, it was the second half.
It was the second half. And it's been several games where it's just like he is just not where he needs to be. Like in that, this is like a guy that is a veteran on the squad. Like you bring him in because he can be a steadying presence. He's done it in the league before. He's able to hit shots. Like. There's just so much clownery happening with so many of these players where you're just like, man, we can't count on any of you dudes. Like, how is this possible? All of you dudes suck. All of you, no one can step up.
I think I'm with you on the Austin one where, I mean, his numbers are really bad. He was a team worst -18 tonight. So,
but still, I still think he's good, guys.
I actually think Austin's had a good season. I see what you see.
Vogt, you should sound off on this angrily. Tell us why
Austin
if you want
to.
Tell us why
Austin's
a minimum
actually
good.
I thought starting him was the right call tonight. I thought he played well up until that stretch. He was horrible in that stretch. And on this show, we have to talk about that.
Right.
But I would probably limit it at that. I think, to me, the bigger issue is just that he started tonight and they still couldn't get any stops.
I know, yeah. That part's very concerning.
But listen, I mean, as far as my totem pole of expectations and guys I really want to hammer into right now, Rivers is a little lower for me. But that's right. We disagreed.
We got to mention Aaron Gordon because he was good tonight. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 block. He goes 8 of 16. He did go over 3 from the 3-point line, and 2 of those were right away. I don't know. He does do the weird thing where sometimes he settles for jumpers where you're like, come on. But once he started barreling to the basket, he just did what he has been doing lately. My circle of trust has 2 players in it right now, and it's Jokic and it's Aaron Gordon. And I'll be honest, Aaron Gordon, it's an he's in. Actually, I shouldn't say it. He's in the circle of trust.
If there's only 2 players, isn't that a line of trust?
It's really not much of a circle at the moment.
That's 2 people.
It's an incredibly
really make a
tiny
shape.
little circle.
Trust dialogue.
Do we have any notes on Aaron Gordon before we move on?
Yeah, I feel like he really stepped into a role where they were missing another rebounder, and he decided to step in on that.
Great call.
He's not a player that I feel like just attacks the boards, but for some reason he controls the paint in every single way. This was a game he knew that he was going to have to help Jokic out on boards, and he made it a point to. We didn't see the same dunks and plays where he's jamming and dunking everything, but I felt like he made it a point to try to get more effort on that end of the floor. There was also a play in the game. He actually did a turnover on it, but he had a closeout and a block and he was out of position. And I was like, okay, he's still trying, even though the Nuggets are down and they're trying to get into it. He is still trying on that end, and that was my first time in a while feeling like he did try on that end of the floor, even though it didn't work out, but. He's definitely in my circle of trust, and also he's just becoming more consistent, even though the plus minus is not showing it. That was not a bad Aaron Gordon game for me.
No, he was. I mean, he was the only other player that was worth mentioning in a positive fashion. It's great too because Aaron Gordon is doing what you want the rest of the Nuggets to do, which is getting better, heading towards the playoffs, rounding into form.
True.
The rest of the Nuggets are just fumbling. They are just staggering into the play. The defense is on such a bad stretch right now. This is maybe the worst defensive stretch for the Denver Nuggets that I can remember us ever having to talk about for the last week plus, where it just seems the fact that they can't stay in front of anybody, it just feels like they're just tired. They don't really have it going down the stretch. That's all effort stuff. It's they didn't suddenly forget how to do it. I mean, they were decent defensively all year, and now
first third they were great. Remember that?
Like now
that
that
feels like a lot.
Now that it's like we actually need them to do it, it's like so comically bad.
Yeah.
I think they're spent, man.
The Nuggets.
I think a lot of the role players are just. We're talking about something that I don't know if they can do.
And by the way, here's the thing: is if you do, even if they do clinch this on Thursday, they've got Memphis. Memphis has nothing to play for, but we know Memphis is a very prideful team. Like they compete, even if they're shorthanded, they're going to compete. I am praying that they decide to rest Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson and Ja. I mean, Ja's still out, but that they rest all those guys, so at least Denver has a slightly better chance. But if you do that, Denver probably has 7 or 8 days, basically, to prepare for the playoffs and rest. I still think Denver would likely, especially if Jamal Murray comes back, play their starters in Sunday's game if they were to win Thursday, but they probably would play them more like 3 quarters, because that game wouldn't matter to them. So you do buy yourself quite a bit of rest, and I would hope you could be refreshed for a playoff series, which we haven't seen a refreshed Denver team, I really think, all year, because they've had to sprint the whole marathon out here. So it becomes so important. My fear, honestly, some of this is like, what's the writing on the wall for this team? And some of this is they barely beat the Indiana Pacers, who didn't want to win. Like, they barely won. They just lost by 20 at home to a Spurs team that was missing their best player. They barely beat Charlotte, barely beat Oklahoma City. Like, you start to go through some of these wins, and it's like they have some good ones under their belt. Don't get it wrong. But they also just have a lot of games that were like this one, where you're just so unimpressed. And
God damn it! I mean, this is we're coming down to the stretch where now we're just talking about like which other teams aren't going to try. So maybe we can we can sneak it in. Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you want the Nuggets to be like just on the court, like taking what is there.
You want them to take.
Like, we're not just
they definitely are going to back their way to the playoffs. We're not like, oh God, please don't let Bane play. Please don't let Ja play. Like, we want to have a chance in this game. And it's like, what are we talking about? Like, this team should be a home game against
Yes, they should be like
Memphis.
building momentum, going to the playoffs, like looking at each other like, guys, we did this. Like, we made it through purgatory together, and like we're going to make something special out of this. Jamal Murray is going to come back. The cavalry is returning just in time, but they're just like staggered. They're like they're phased.
Well, let's hit an early second break here, because there's a lot to get to. One, we have 10 super chats. Two, we do need to go around the association. But more than anything, guys, I'm telling you, we have to talk about Jamal Murray returning on Thursday, which I still think is a thing that will happen.
50-50.
And your point, D-Line, is right about the Nuggets limping to the playoffs or like this or that. But you know what? Can Jamal Murray be that adrenaline shot from Pulp Fiction? No, not emotional boost. The adrenaline straight to the heart where it comes back to life and gets back. We'll talk about that on the other side.
Evoca TV. It's your best way to watch the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. The latter might be a slightly harder pitch right now, easier sell. But hey, they're both available because Evoca has local networks like Altitude Sports. The service is now available in Denver, Colorado Springs, Phoenix, Boise, and Twin Falls, Idaho. And they're making it easy for you to follow the Colorado teams that you love. It should be easy for you here in Denver, but it isn't. You can make it easier on yourself with Evoca TV. How do you get it? Go to evoca.tv/DNVR. It's only $25 per month plus receiver, no contracts, no hidden fees. Check them out. Check your favorite Colorado teams out, because that's what we're doing here, right? That's what we're doing. Lightshade sells Wana products. One of those products is a 1-to-1 CBD to THC cream. Doesn't get you high. Learn something new every day. Did help my muscle pain, though. I
don't think they get you high.
They don't. Yep. Need to catch up on some shut-eye after the big game, no matter when you take them. Wana also has fast asleep gummies, and this well-rounded recipe will leave you feeling rested and refreshed in the morning. Fast-acting sleep aid will have your eyelids feeling heavy in just 5 to 15 minutes. That's the good stuff. This carefully calibrated formula contains 10 milligrams of CBD and just a hint of THC. Just a hint, Eric. Just a dollop. Where can you find Wana? Colorado's premier dispensary, Lightshade. And what's cool about Lightshade? When you go in there and you scream DNVR at the people behind the counter.
DNVR!
They don't even say hi. Just scream it at them. They are contractually obligated to give you 25% off your order.
Once they're done cowering in fear.
That's not 1 time or 2 times or 3 times. That's every time, so long as they don't kick you out for yelling at them. And we're back.
You know what we didn't even talk about was this being a Tony Brothers game, which it totally was. A Tony Brothers game. I mean, Jokic's attack. Malone gets a tech. I can't believe the Nuggets got Tony Brothers twice in 1 week.
He called a foul on a jump ball. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah, dude. And then he exclaimed loudly to Michael Malone he wouldn't take the disrespect.
I hope Tony Brothers does not get a Nuggets playoff game. I mean, if you get him twice in 1 week, does that mean you're not going to get him in the playoffs?
Yeah, it should be on a rotation where he can't come back around for a while.
God,
like
I hope
really,
that's the case.
I didn't think you'd get the same ones like in a row. Is there a shortage? Like, well, what made that happen? I really want to know.
Is there a shortage of brothers out there? Let's kind of, before we get to these super chats, I just want to ask you guys. I was really hopeful. One reason I really wanted this one is because, like I said, I think, I don't know, but I think Jamal has a good chance of coming back. And I wanted the Nuggets to hit their over without him, just because it makes for a good MVP story to be like, you know what they did? They beat it even without him. Now you come back and you still have a chance. Dev, if he does play, how would you say the emotional boost to distraction? Like, what does the scale look like between those two things?
I think it's going to be completely a boost. Like, you already know that, like, he's your guy. He has a different mental aspect. He's also been, like, with the team this entire time. So they already see him. They already talk to him. It looks like he's coaching a lot of guys up. But to see him go out there and pretty much not risk it, but, like, to put his body on the line, his season on the line to try to make, the team better, I think that goes a long way, especially for a guy like Jokic. All you really need is to, like, get him going, really, in different ways. He's already so good, but I think other people will start to fall in line. So it, like, just gives everybody that energy that they need, or at least just feel like it's a fresh start. You already hear all season long. That's been the conversation because it has to be. This team is playing without Michael Porter Jr. This team is playing without Jamal Murray. Now, if you get them back, it's like, okay, now I feel like we have a chance. Now I feel like we have some hope because the last time that the Nuggets did have him, they were contenders. They really did feel like that, and it was looking like that. So having them in any capacity on the court, I think goes a long way.
No doubt, dude. I think there's just something about, like, you just feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of how he plays. Just the idea that being in suspended animation for as long as we've been, it's just sort of like you're reminded of what the true form of the team is and, like, why it is that we're so hopeful for the future and why the Nuggets championship window is not even close to closed. It's not about the season. It's never been about the season. This season has just sort of been like, just keep swimming. Like, what can we do? And, like, along the way, like, let's let Jokic do his thing. Let's let him win an MVP. And, in the meantime, we're gonna have to count on guys like Davon Reed, and we're gonna have to count on guys like Austin Rivers, who is good. I found out tonight.
No, he was also bad tonight. I'm not.
But the point being, like, obviously, if the Nuggets are gonna fulfill the destiny that we all believe that they are entitled to, and we ourselves are entitled to, is going to be on the backs. Shouldn't say that. It's going to be on the wings of Michael Porter Jr. and not Jamal Murray.
It's going to be on the ACL of that's not even an expression.
We're going to hitch a ride on the ACL of Jamal Murray in the back of Michael Porter Jr. to take us to that promised land. But it's just, listen, you can always cite history when things are dark to sort of see how things have gone. The Golden State Warriors, one of the most dominant teams in the history of the NBA, lose Clay, and suddenly they don't make the playoffs. And now they're just, like, slowly digging their way out of the same exact thing, the muck and mire that we find ourselves trapped in. It's just the way of it, man. NBA basketball is just so fragile. You lose one guy,
true,
one important guy. You lose, like, the difference between absolute happiness and complete devastation is just a little ACL that is it's a rubber band basically, and that thing snaps, and, like, suddenly you're like, what are we doing? Like, we're just now looking for answers. We need to get creative. And we have the amount of money also that we have sunk into those two players. Like, if they are not able to, become who we thought and who we think they're going to be, it's just like another era.
What kind of boost will you get personally? I'm asking D-line if Jamal Murray plays on Thursday.
Oh my God, dude! I mean, like, listen, that is, to me, it's like, all right, let's, like, take a deep breath. Let's reset. Like, the season starts anew. I mean, the storyline starts anew. It's like everything that happened in the past is like, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's just like now we're back to the team that we know that we are. Now that we're back to, all right, like now we can like really count the W's and the L's as meaningful for the future, what they actually mean for the real destiny of this goddamn squad, which is not nights like tonight are so, they're so frustrating because we know what we have. Just that Nikola Jokic.
And also like that third quarter when the Nuggets played harder than the Spurs, and then wouldn't you look at that, the lead shrunk really quick. You're just like, I don't know if you guys can right now, but wouldn't it have been cool if you did that in the first quarter?
Are you guys ready for a little around the association? To have a
No,
little
who
bit of fun?
cares? I don't care.
No,
Life
this
sucks.
is a good one. This is a good one.
Okay,
The
there's
Lakers
nothing
are
good.
currently down by 20 points, and they're playing such low energy, low effort, low pride game that Detlef Schrempf is on Twitter. I didn't even know he was on Twitter, but Detlef Schrempf is on Twitter, and he is talking
At
about
Schrempf?
Yeah, Schrempf. It is D Schrempf, so not that far.
You're cooking tonight, bro.
Apparently he is, but he's talking about like how embarrassing this is. Like the whole timeline is just talking about how embarrassing it is, the Lakers' effort and spirit. And I've got to say, like, I don't want this. I don't want the Nuggets this season to come down to the final game where they have to beat a Lakers team, a dispirited, not trying Lakers team. Like, it just sucks because, like you said, that is kind of going through the back door. Also, like, it would be too much stress for me personally. But it is maybe a piece of solace that the Lakers really do seem like their season's coming to an end. They lose this game. They're down 20 in the fourth. They lose. They have nothing to play for. They are eliminated. They probably shut down AD and LeBron. And at least maybe you get the gimme there. So they're getting clowned apparently.
I feel like
right
we're
now.
underselling this. Because it sucked. Tonight from our end sucks.
Yeah.
The Lakers are going to miss the play-in.
Right.
The
Play-in.
play-in.
In the middle of like LeBron, not prime, but like a player that is just known, like he's a top 2 player of all time.
I mean, we worried that the Lakers were going to win like 4 in a row when they got AD and LeBron. It was like, well, now like look at this, and here they are in 11th place.
And this would be like the second time. Like the first time really wasn't his fault, but like he's gonna miss the playoffs for another year.
2 out of the 4 years he's been with the Lakers, he'll have missed the playoffs. That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's crazy.
Basketball gods are always watching.
Well, I hope so. Let's see, what else did we have today? We, of course, had the Utah Jazz went into overtime, but they did get the win against the Grizzlies. Now, this is a little important. The Grizzlies have nothing to play for. This game did go to overtime. They're on the road at Utah. Again, what does Memphis do on Thursday? Like, it doesn't make sense for them to keep playing, but, we'll have to, especially now you have an overtime game on the road with his travel. We'll see what that report looks like. Do you expect the Grizzlies to go full go?
No, but also consider that the Grizzlies that will play will.
Yeah.
And might win because it doesn't seem to matter who they rest. They win games anyway.
The thing for me to look at in that game is, at what point does Memphis want to get Ja some run before the playoffs?
Oh.
So is that like a game that he wants to come back in? I just don't know.
I hate it.
It's like Jamal Murray's return and then Ja Morant's also returned.
Yeah. Like,
But he's only been out for 2 weeks, so he's like not that bad, that damn bad. And then, of course, the last one here, the Timberwolves lost to the Washington Wizards. Wes Unseld.
Shout out Wes.
Wes Unseld came through for the Nuggets again, and they just smacked him. Like, this is a game. I don't know why the Wizards won this one. I don't know what they were
won
thinking.
by a lot.
But they won by a lot, and it was obviously. I mean, think about if the Timberwolves would have won tonight, and the Nuggets are one game now.
I will actually not think about that.
Yeah, thank God we don't have to go live and exist in that timeline. So, Nuggets only have to win one of the last 2, both of them at home, although I guess home is not really exactly a good thing for the Nuggets right now. I don't know what to make of it. They officially locked up a better road record than home record this year. That's got to be a first.
Jesus Christ. What is this?
What is this dumb season? All right, let's go to our super chats here. What are the streets saying?
What a bunch of sickos. Is there anything more beautiful?
Probably just yelling at us. Tyler says, I still love you
Nope,
guys.
opposite.
Purgatory sucks.
Love you too,
Wow.
Tyler.
Love you too, Tyler. Man.
Tyler.
We needed that. I needed that.
You're
I
a
did
little-
too. Nobody's ever told me they love me my entire life.
That's true. And nobody ever will, besides in
And it
super
still
chat.
wasn't directed just at me.
Yeah, you got
I just got a
1/4
piece
of
of
that love,
it.
yeah.
man, I hope you don't think that's changing.
Bo Kun says, proud of Nuggets. Every player except Jokic and Gordon came in and decided to do one nice thing.
I feel like there's a second part to this.
Is there another?
I think there's
All right, that was
sarcasm
sarcasm.
there.
Yeah, All right, I'll take it.
Sarcastic chat.
I swear, like I never read these properly on first.
You don't ever read.
Aaron says
picked up on that.
Again,
eight seed
please.
versus Golden State is what most of us
6 seed.
knew was going on. 6 seed versus
Knew
Golden
what
State.
was going down.
Going down.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, also, if you're going to super chat when we're down bad, make sure you try to sneak a rhyme in there so it makes it even more awkward for Adam when he realizes halfway through that it's supposed to be a rhyme.
If you really
it's
want
always
to
the best.
throw him for a loop, just sneak a Marvel reference in there and watch him
I'll
melt
catch
on
that
the
one.
internet.
A little Batman. What do we have here? Addison says, hopefully this will make our final game against the Lakers
Possible.
easier. I mean, maybe not.
God, we're like, please don't let.
Nuggets are going to
They're like,
overtime against
please,
Austin Reeves.
Please let them rest Taylor Horton Tucker. Oh God.
Well, I think he's saying because if they lost tonight and then the other things came into play, they don't have anything to play for. So, like just looking at it,
Right.
but it does make sense. That would be horrible.
Well,
They'd have to play Austin Reeves again.
LeBron trails this scoring title by 0.3 points, I believe. But, however, consider that LeBron coming back and trying to score 50 points that game has nothing to do with him trying to win that game. He might also throw the defense in the toilet as well.
Yeah, but it's still points. I still don't want it to happen.
I
You're
agree
right.
with that.
It would be
I agree
dope
with
if he
that.
just hung out under the basket all night and just
Might
like,
do that. He's getting pretty shameless with it.
They got Golden State, Oklahoma City, and Denver. That's their upcoming games after this one. So maybe he just plays the next two and shuts it down for the final one.
Oh,
We'll
good
find
looking
out.
man.
John says, this one was so disappointing, but I appreciate what you guys have been doing during this strange season. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm telling you guys, it sucks for us doing the show too on a loss. Like we just want to come here and vibe.
You don't understand. Like when the cameras go off, we just scream at each other.
We just cry.
Full throat.
Oh,
Eric slapped me in the face tonight.
Eric did have like some loud curses that
I
reverberated through the bar.
My vibes were
Not great.
Not great.
rot.
They were really bad. Really bad vibes.
Eric's kind of driving me fucking insane now that we're talking about it.
Timo,
Fucking tantrums.
Timo says, maybe these next two games we find much needed energy in Facu. Let him grow. What's the worst that can happen? I love it.
We're at that point.
We are at that point.
We're like,
hey,
we're like
circling
these
back.
are the most meaningful games in the season. Fuck it.
Yeah, but also
When the world is ending, I'm finding Eric right away.
Roll the dice. Get
they
Marcus
need
Howard in there.
They need some type of energy, and he brings that.
Hey,
he brings that.
Here's one thing I'll say about Facu, man. Like tonight, nobody brought like nobody gave enough. Nobody
Yeah.
cared enough to like go out there and just thought like Facu, not great, really hurt, really limited, not a good fit. But he tries every single night, every single second, every possession. He goes out there and works hard.
That's why he played as long as he did.
That's why he played as long as he did, Timo. So, hey, I don't think it's going to happen. You know what I will say, though? F it. Win this next game on Thursday. Maybe he does
true.
play on Sunday, though. Like, you know what? Maybe roll him out there and just keep him fresh, keep him connected. Or buy him out, I guess, and then sign Dave Unread. I don't know.
Yeah,
what the
one of
plan
those
is.
two
I don't
things.
know.
Throw him a bone or wave his ass.
Yeah.
You know, one of the two.
Trent says, I feel like this loss might cost Jokic MVP. Utah won, and I think that means Denver is stuck in the 6th seed. The team let Jokic down. The vibes are tragic. 6-5, nobody gives. I don't think anybody cares. Now, is Jokic a lock to have it? I still think he's the favorite. DraftKings thinks he's the favorite, but
At least he put up numbers tonight.
at least it wasn't like he didn't do his job. What else we got?
Giannis Lurkin, though. Giannis Lurkin.
20 piece
Whoa.
from my guy Mello.
Mello.
Oh, hey, Mello. So bad our D funnel the opposition to Joker at rim like he's Mutombo.
Fact.
We knew in 2017 that Jokic was never going to be an elite rim protector. Conley's inability to build any sort of D without him is worse than his 2017 draft. I mean, like, look, we got to save the Malone Conley. In my opinion, we got to save the criticisms for when they have the team they were designed to play
totally.
with.
This plane is missing a wing. It's like it feels a little bumpy up here.
I will remind you that the Nuggets are still a half game from hitting their over. Like they are still going to surpass expectations with one more win.
The worst takes from this season that we see over and over and over is like, this team is wasting Jokic's talent. Blah, blah, and you're like,
They didn't do it on purpose.
yeah, like they signed guys and then the guys don't play, and that's not really it's not really they didn't plan on that happening.
It wasn't plan A per se.
So I mean, I appreciate the $20 super chat. I just disagree with you, Mello.
Agree with the defense part, though.
Yeah, I agree with you that they need to add some defenders, and that's why I say. I mean, we said this at the start. I do think there are lessons they can learn from this, and there's obviously very specific players that
what's
maybe
Shaq
their time
Harrison
has
up
come to
to?
an end. Yeah,
I think about Shaq Harrison once a
At
week.
least he guarded. At least he guarded.
He sure did. Adam,
what's on
make
your
sure you
mind.
read this next one.
Maxwell says, "Come on, Adam. You predicts Murray return already for a month, giving dates. You will eventually be right.
This.
Thank you. Maybe next season. Eric rolls Adam sucks.
Oh,
Well,
what a great super chat.
Oh,
Finally a fucking super chat.
a tough
Dude,
ending
all
there.
the other super chats are like pretty good. Like this is a super fucking chat.
I'm telling you, I honestly, here's what's funny about my prediction for Thursday. I honestly think Murray would have been back today if they would have beat the Wolves. And I think Murray would have for sure been back on Thursday if they would have won today. And now I'm like, he's coming back Thursday, but it honestly might just be Sunday now. Like,
Just let me know when he does.
But you're right. I am going to keep predicting it every single game until it's true.
Somebody put
What
some
else is going to
ointment in
happen?
this wound, please.
Throwing some ointment here. Jason says, Super Chat, Jokic playing 8D chess and making sure we stay in 6 so we play Golden State. Hey, man, it might work out perfect.
That Jokic is pretty wily, is he not?
So wily.
He did look like he was throwing that game in the fourth. That's not a real take.
Looked like he was very tired. What else we got?
That's not a real take.
Ben says, trying to stay grateful tonight, but it is a hard with this performance. So I will be grateful to the whole DNVR crew for giving us a place to vent and bringing us together. Hell yeah, man. That's what
Ben,
Shout out
you're
all
the
of you.
best.
Hey, who
Real
was that
one,
guy
Ben.
that just had the last super chat where he was yelling at me?
didn't yell
That's
at you.
how you super chat. Ben,
No,
that's how you
I
super
actually
chat.
preferred the previous chat.
Did you not hear what he said about me?
It was
I
in
did
direct
not notice.
juxtaposition
We're
to
all
Eric.
together, right? We're all together on this, right, Eric? Yeah, we're a unit, right?
You know what? Like
We
we're
rise together,
Listen,
no?
we're a unit until like one of us realizes that we're better than the other, and
Yo,
we're
can I
like
get this
Jokic, and then there's a bunch of goddamn scrubs.
I'll
around
take
us.
this one. Super sticker, a pile of poop with a face. That's the highlight of my night.
Oh man, I love everybody
Hell of a sticker.
except for the Nuggets. They can all suck it.
3 says Jokic had 30 of the first 63 points. Need him to generate 50 to 60 points between points and assists just to beat bad teams. Another and not playoff on deck. Man, I hope so. I hope you're right. Here's one thing. The only thing that could save the Nuggets is Inat. It really is. Murray could come back, and I'm hopeful for that. Michael Porter, who knows? We haven't heard a single thing about him. But Inat, that's the thing I'm banking on. What else we got? Hopefully we'll read these very slow so Wind can join. Gus says,
I forgot about Wind.
tonight
God damn it.
made me miss Paul Millsap, vet leadership.
Our dad, man. I miss our dad too.
Dad's not playing. Like in Phil, I don't know if you guys have noticed. He's just like he's like Marcus Howard right now. Like
Well, I mean, he's played for like his 50th year in the league.
he is really old.
When he still had some legs underneath him in Denver, though, that was the closest they came to like a legitimately good defense. And that
So
wasn't
true.
just all his individual effort. He was the player that was an
Yes.
extension of Malone on the floor in that way. He cared about defense, and a player of that ilk would be nice in the next couple of seasons for sure.
Yeah. Morgan, last one here. Morgan says, Wes Unseld tonight did us a favor. Dev made me money tonight. Tell your
all
neighbor tonight too much sobbing. Don't worry. The sky is not falling.
See, this is the one that is for me. We saved the best one for last, and I appreciate super
First off, that's
producer
not even a
Kel.
compliment. He just stated a fact.
But I do that every single time. It's a consistent fact.
It's a consistent fact.
And he also let everybody else know
You'd be
that
like-
that's what I
You'd
do.
be like, Dev made me money.
I
Dev
win.
also wore a sweatshirt. Wow, everybody loves Dev. I mean,
All three things you just said are true, though.
that is true. I just lived.
He did win
Those
us
were
money.
3 facts.
He's wearing a
yes.
sweatshirt.
And everybody loves
Everyone
him.
does
That's
love
true.
Dev.
Is,
Guys,
hating, is hating in your blood?
I
Yes,
don't have
yes.
any blood left. I bled it all out downstairs. I'm working off of pure athletic greens.
That stuff's pretty good.
I know, except for it makes you this hateful version of yourself. I turned
Athletic
into-
Green's great for your health, but it really turns you into an asshole.
It's just like
so weird.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
just
what it is.
eroded.
Weird- weirdest side
yeah,
effects.
You just erode into basketball golem.
What other takes do we have while we wait for? Do you think Wynn's coming?
She's like,
Just went home.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, we're waiting for AG. Man, so Jokic already talked, but not AG.
We do have maybe sexy meter.
Malone sexy meter. Okay, pull it up.
Well, the Jokic-
Why not? Or yeah, or
Oh,
so yeah.
look how sexy
I'm
he is.
gonna go yellow. I'm gonna go in between yellow and orange. He was pretty sexy tonight, but you're hot to trot. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think he was Sombor Smolder.
I say Smolder tonight.
Yeah, I think he was Sombor.
He was a
Smolder.
fourth quarter away from hot to trot.
Man, I'll tell you what. I'm nervous
have
for how
41
tired he was.
points.
What is
tonight.
your own personal Jokic sexy meter vibe right now?
What do you mean?
I am purgatory pouty like I've never been.
Right? Oh, your own self?
Yeah.
You are purgatory pouty.
I'm so purgatory pouty.
You were in a great mood today too. The
I
Nuggets
know everything
ruined
was
it.
great. No, everything was great. I had newfound respect for my coworkers. I was
Newfound? What did we do tonight?
Not true at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
I just came in like the birds were chirping, and then the wind started blowing. Not the Harrison wind, the actual wind, which is a harbinger of things to come. Clearly,
did you guys watch that? So yesterday, I'm watching TNT, and then after the game, that show Chad came on. Have you guys heard of this show?
I have
Oh,
seen that
yes.
show, yeah.
First of all, I thought it to be very funny. I only watched maybe 15, 20 minutes. I didn't watch a full episode. Huh?
I'm just curious where you go with this.
Well, Harrison's waiting for Aaron Gordon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we're just talking about Chad earnestly.
Here's the premise of the story.
make sure this makes put this in the chat when we do the summary of what this episode was about.
It's like a take.
You're like, the Denver Nuggets fumble a perfect opportunity to make the playoffs. Chad, the show reviewed by the Denver Nuggets crew.
And then he's just gonna say it's super interesting.
I can't even finish my story. I was just gonna say it's weird. There's like a 40-year-old woman who plays a 16-year-old boy. It's and it's like it's kind of funny looking. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, you're a Pen 15 guy, right, Eric? Everyone should
love
watch Pen
Pen
15. That show's great.
I love Pen 15. You know what? Also, like, are we just? We're just sharing shows we've seen that we like.
Now. We're just
there's a show called
Wynn's joining soon, I think.
There's a show called Life and Beth on Hulu, starring Amy Schumer, who gets so much hate for some reason, but it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, wow.
People really don't like Amy Schumer. Did she steal
she's-
jokes? Is that why?
No, people are just like weird towards women comics.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
She also might have stolen jokes, but I think both of those. I do think both of those dynamics. Are
But it's really funny.
Love and Beth.
Life and Beth, as in life and death.
On Hulu, when you guys
on Hulu.
first get an account, does it ask for you guys' race? Like seriously, I don't get the same shows that you guys get. I know that there's like a curtain that my shows are behind.
I can't finish this show.
It starts off. It's like name bands that you like. I'm like Nirvana.
They're like, oh, we got you. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
Life
white guy.
and Beth.
White guy, Life and Beth, get in here.
I promise you, I'll be like, oh, they're trolling or they're making something. I don't get the same options as you guys. Do you guys? Does anybody have Amazon?
Yeah.
Do you guys
I got 'em
say
all.
Snowfall?
Yeah, I watched
yeah.
Snowfall.
Did yours say that?
I have never been on Amazon. We have it though.
Yeah, so maybe it's on the opposite end because I know that I have not seen none of those or even
Well,
seen it
some of this
across
is-
my screen.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what's really funny? I was working on a take, like a basketball take.
Why?
What did you have? What do you got?
Well, it was interesting because Boogie blew it. Malone had to bring Jokic back early in the second and the fourth, and he looked absolutely gassed.
Super chat.
Peep out the Ozarks. You know, it is. You know what is something funny, man? As you get, especially when you have kids and you get older, like you have to pick your spots of staring into the abyss. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
my
Like,
20s
you're like, I can only watch the Denver Nuggets.
it's not true. It's like the only thing my heart can handle. I'm serious about this. Like, I love dark movies. Like, all my
Yeah.
favorite movies are very bleak.
Yeah.
We talk about music we love. They
Yeah.
have like dark undertones, this or that. And you start having kids and stuff. And all of a
Right.
sudden, you have to be like, do I want to emotionally invest in being sad?
Right.
Don't
You're
think I
like,
need it.
You're like,
You know what I mean? I'm telling you, with that Ozarks, I watched like the first like 2 episodes, and I was like, I can just tell this is gonna make me sad a lot.
yeah, you're like,
I don't know if I want it yet.
You're like, I'm punting on the concept of existentialism by replicating my genes and knowing that they'll live beyond me.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to focus on the dark anymore. I'm
have
going to
to.
facilitate the light.
I'm telling you, it's the weirdest phenomenon. I mean, you're like this. You like dark things.
I do, yeah. I used to like him a lot more in college. I was a real sad flavor
Yeah,
boy.
you
I
just
don't know
like
if you
lean
can-
into it.
Yeah.
That show is incredible, though. I'm going to say that.
Ozarks.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I smoked
good.
pot
I
and
think
got
you would
sad.
like it actually yourself a lot.
I might. I'm just telling you, like, it's an emotional commitment. I'm not sure I'm ready to like throw emotional weight into.
So here's a super chat I missed earlier. Thunderdome is back, baby.
Oh, that's the worst super chat ever. How much do they super chat? How much is that?
$2.
That's not enough for that bullshit. You brought in these bad vibes here. What the hell is
It's a
that?
good joke, though.
A good one came in from our buddy Josh.
From Down Under? He says, keen for 2 things soon, Jamal and DNBA snake draft. It is almost snake draft season. We got to get some good snake
We might have
draft.
to
The worst
snake
part
draft
is our-
right now.
Our worst one. The worst part is our first snake draft is going to be devastating moments from the season.
That's going to be so fun
We're
when
like,
we're taking them.
Boogie smoking that dunk that would have.
What would go number 1? It's got to
Oh.
be Porter injuring
I was
himself.
going
Porter
to
would
say
be number one.
number
Definitely
2
it.
might be Porter setback.
Porter setback, yeah.
Setback, yeah. Like when we thought we were gonna get
God,
back.
what is the other ultimate bummer? We gotta
Losing to the Timberwolves,
Yeah,
like when it was
yeah.
all on the line, was
Hell
a
yeah,
real
dude.
total bummer.
Yeah, there are some good moments.
I was
a good snake draft.
I know.
We could go 5 rounds deep on that.
Yeah.
Could it just be like the Suns being awesome and
Yeah.
just like everything going their
Yeah,
way?
there can be things that are larger than the Nuggets that just like have to just compare our current station in life to, where other people, you watch other people enjoying things and you yourself can't enjoy anything.
You know, the absolute worst is like when we launched PHNX and people are like,
I agree. That was the worst.
It was the worst. And then everyone's like, F the Suns. You guys are like the Suns. Like, you guys don't realize we hate them
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
They make money for us.
Oh, you mean we hate PHNX?
Yes, I'm saying like,
Yeah.
oh, like they're like just
They're not our friends.
Suns, everything's all great, like everything's going perfect for them, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, we also hate them. Guys.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
come on.
it is like where you just look at like a guy who has like rich parents and he shows up in a Maserati and like you work 3 jobs and your goddamn Ford Fiesta keeps breaking down.
He's
But
your
like somehow
teammate.
like you keep like you're keeping pace and the guy in the Maserati is like not paying attention, doesn't care, and we're just like, why weren't you paying attention? Like, god damn it, if we had what you had, what we would do. Oh, what we would do.
We should only open up new markets where the teams suck and are
Totally.
no threat.
I
look at.
we gotta go to Orlando
I was just
next.
gonna say,
It's like, hey,
OLDO coming up
we're
next.
gonna get Orlando. We might get Detroit
And
going.
we could just call it OKC.
we don't even name
No
it
fourth.
anything.
We
else.
have to add a 4th letter.
No.
OKC. C.
What's your level of hope right now, Dev, in the Nuggets? I mean, like, they might get the nice thing about the playoffs right now, and everybody keeps saying Golden State looks like it's going to be Golden State. The nice thing about it all, Golden State's just like Denver. Their world is also collapsing around them. They just have one championship, so they have that kind of behind them. But
Like you're saying, if they match up with the Warriors,
I think they're going to match up with them, though.
there is
avoid the
hope, and
play.
I'm sure that in the next week or so we're going to talk about it a lot. But I feel like my first initial, I think there's hope based off of the idea that Curry has not been playing much lately. Also, they don't have a center. They don't have a center this year. So Draymond Green having to guard Jokic for entirety of a series, I just don't think that it's capable. I think that he's going to be a good help side defender, and he could bring that type of help. But also, Aaron Gordon is going to be a handful for Draymond by himself. So I have no idea how they're going to try to slow down Jokic.
They're
And
not
also,
going
I think
to,
that
yeah.
everyone else matches up. I don't think that Denver can slow down Curry. So on both ends, you have a shooter versus a very dominant player that can score whenever he wants to. I think that is. I have a good hope in that.
Yeah. That'll be the purgatory off, will it not? Like the two teams that are just like had to just like wade through the muck and the mire to get to this point. Man, I just can't believe that this is the way that I'm feeling at this exact moment. Like I just figured, like, as I looked towards the end of the season months ago, I'm like, well, it'll be fine. We'll have Michael Porter Jr. will be back.
Right.
Jamal Murray will be back.
Hey, it's all
will
on the
be right.
table. Can we do a quick Brightest timeline?
Yes. let's
Murray
go.
comes back on
Yes.
Thursday. He looks incredible.
He looks
Paul
exactly
George
like-
S.
yes, he looks-
Paul George S.
Oh,
the Brightest
there we go.
timeline. I love it. I love that it's me too. Like I'm always on the bad
Yeah, it's because,
images.
it's because
Yeah,
usually I
you
make
I wonder what
them.
they-
Yeah. I got one good one. It's the Brightest timeline.
I made that.
Hey, my homie for sure. All right, so it's Murray comes back on Thursday and he just looks great right out of the package. He's the savior that we were hoping he would be. Maybe Michael Porter's right there behind him.
beautiful.
Yeah, Barton and Monte play well.
Beautiful.
Barton all of a sudden goes back to like 8 shots a game as the 4th option. And it's just like perfect for him.
We become smug to a spectacular degree again.
I'll just take a win. Just a single win.
Can we get a singular win? At this point, you're right. But the bar is so low for me that I'm like, just give me a Thursday win. I want to take
the
like
Brightest.
Friday off. I would
I'll
love.
take a Wolves loss. I don't
Oh,
even
speaking
need a
of which,
win.
Friday, if you don't know, opening day for the Rockies. Very
Holy
excited about our
smokes.
Rockies coverage. We have a huge announcement coming up on Thursday. We have some really cool stuff. But Friday, we are going to be down partying hard for opening day.
Oh.
Opening day is like St. Patty's Day, man.
Dude,
It's
we're
just
gonna
a
be
party.
partying hard.
Do you know
dude.
what's opening, Dev?
Yes, I know things that are opening.
Dev's a huge Rockies fan.
It's a baseball day.
Yeah,
That's right.
Dev, no, you can't keep Dev away from a Nirvana song or an opening baseball game?
But we're going to be at Ice House, so we're not going to be. I mean, opening day is a Lodo event. Everybody's down at Lodo, so we're going to be at Ice House, which is a sister bar actually of DNVR. So we're going to be over there. We're going to have a tent set up. Eric's probably going to be like piss drunk.
Yeah, it'll be ridiculous.
I will be pissed drunk, and then I will have peed myself. But also, if you like T-shirts, there will be two exclusive drops.
I was gonna say, what is? Oh no, it's not Win. What is
I know.
AG doing?
Dude, he
all
wrote
I
me.
was
Win
waiting
wrote
for.
me 6 minutes ago saying, "Okay, I'm going to set up. They're done." It's just like Mosey. He's probably stopped in the hall to talk to Singer. What do we got? What's the super chat? Oh, it's Evan. He says, "What would the DNVR pronunciation of Miami be?" Mimi.
I'm
It'd
in.
probably be FLDA
Oh yeah, because it's a state.
because it's Florida.
Do you think you would just cover Orlando and Miami together? There's a
don't-
lot
I
of
don't
these,
know,
to be
dude.
honest with you guys. Like, there's a lot of these ones that we've thought about that are just like really, really hard.
Yeah,
This
we're gonna have to ditch the naming convention.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
because then like Nashville
Also-
and Memphis like hate each other, but they share
Yes.
teams.
Also,
There's like weirdness.
as far as
Not
the-
every city's cool like Denver.
well, also as far as the guy that makes the logos, like we've gone to places that have like just naturally cool, dynamic, interesting
Flags, yeah.
flags. And as you head eastward, every flag is the same flag, and it's all a crest with like a mountain man wrestling a bear. It's like the story of the township wrapped up.
That's how that's actually, you didn't know Pittsburgh was formed by a man wrestling a bear.
Every
It was-
single one. It's like it's like a trapper shaking hands with a beaver or something. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Heritage gets really dumb when you really boil it down like
It's so
that.
bad.
I'm never going to forgive Harrison
No,
because I know he's been done for a long time.
If he knew we were listening to Linkin Park right now, he would
Again,
put us out of this.
you know what?
business.
You know, Harrison, you can order songs when you're not here. Harrison is playing Linkin Park, laughing at us.
Is
right
he the
now.
one who put 30 Seconds to Mars on earlier? Shout out Jared Leto. Leto?
Leto,
Whatever.
God, I hate Harrison.
He's terrible.
He's the worst. I have nowhere else
I'm
to
gonna
go
I'm
right
gonna
now.
I'm gonna start the grades. You guys let me.
You want to start? So who's going to get how many
let's do the
non-Fs are
grades
you handing
together.
out?
Let's
We
do
should
the
do the
grades
grades. Let's
together.
crowdsource the grades.
Chet, we're-
Jokic. What are we giving Jokic tonight?
Jokic gets an A, but not an A plus tonight.
Do we care what the players have to say tonight? Like, can I ask? Do we care what anyone that played in this game has
All
to say
jokes
tonight?
aside, when's the last time that we heard something really good from Aaron Gordon? Why did we wait so long for
So
Aaron
true,
Gordon?
we do.
He's
Wait
just
so
like, yeah,
long.
Jokic is nice.
Dude, it was so cool, bro.
He's here.
Yeah.
Harrison, what the fuck, dude? Jesus fucking Christ. I know that the interview with Aaron Gordon wrapped up 5 minutes ago. What are we doing? Drowning over here.
All right, I can just leave and you guys can end the show right now if you want. Just say the word.
Quickly go through whatever it was that
We're
was said.
down
What?
so bad.
We're down
Just
so
say the
bad.
word and I'll close the laptop right now.
We are down so bad. I hope that Michael Malone delivered a great sermon after this game. What did he give us?
Yeah, I don't have a great sermon for you.
And he gave a pause.
I'm gonna just drag this out as long as. Michael Malone's biggest theme tonight was that the Nuggets wasted a golden opportunity. They had a chance to clinch the 6th seed. The Timberwolves lost, and they wasted that opportunity. He said they had played with no urgency tonight. He said our bench unit played like this was a game in the middle of November, not a game where we had the chance to clinch a playoff spot. And he just highlighted, a lack of urgency. And then he talked about the defensive breakdowns. They wanted to run Devin Vassell and Josh Richardson off the three-point line. I think those guys both shot 7 or 8 threes tonight. So that wasn't the right game plan, or they didn't execute the game plan there. And then he just felt like the team expended so much energy, and mainly one guy expended so much energy trying to get us back into the game. We didn't have the energy in the end to close it out.
I always think back to after that 76ers game when the Nuggets, supporting cast really stepped up, and then we saw the picture of the locker room, and somebody, we think Will Barton, said, "We ride with you, big fella," or whatever, like, we got your back. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, that one time. All right, what else?
But I think the guy that Malone was really talking about when he was talking about people expending so much energy and then being fatigued at the end of the game was Nikola Jokic. This was kind of the standout quote from Malone, I thought. He said, look, he's been carrying the team for 80 games, and I can't take him out of a game, so you got to get him right back in there, and he's gassed. So I went back to him around the 9:30 mark of the fourth quarter tonight, and he looked at me like, already? And then Malone was like, look, he never complains. He wasn't complaining, but, I mean, he's tired. He's fatigued. And he felt like some of his misses at the end of the game, shots he usually makes, he just missed because he was tired.
Yeah. I mean, there was no question he was absolutely gassed down the stretch, and he was short on everything, yeah.
He played 20 minutes in the first half tonight. That probably contributed to some of it.
Man.
Jokic tonight, he said, well, look, we didn't control the game. We didn't defend at all. He was asked how to get the defense better, back to where it was earlier this season. He goes, I wish I had an answer, but I don't know. Probably we need to play harder. He went on to say, look, I just missed some shots that I normally make down the stretch. He was asked if he was tired. He was asked if he was fatigued. Of course, he didn't really say yes or no on that. But it was pretty clear that he was. I also saw he on the bench was holding like a towel over his wrist. I'm wondering if his wrist is bothering him a little bit or not.
Oh,
sick.
And then we talked to Aaron Gordon as well. And Aaron was asked about the defense, and he was like, look, we need to communicate more. We didn't communicate at all tonight. We were super quiet. And I've got to be the captain of the defense. I've got to start communicating more. That starts with me. He said, look, this was a bad loss for us. We didn't take advantage of the opportunity. And, it's really frustrating. This is a bad loss for us. And then with his game specifically, what was working for him in the second half, he said, look, I just tried to get to the rim. Earlier in the game, I was settling, and I've got to play inside out. Then my jumper will start falling. That's what I did in the second half.
It's so true, but it's also kind of funny that it's a thing that has to be reminded to him. I mean, his game to me is so clear that when he's aggressive going to the hoop, he has great games. And when he's not, it's just funny because, he knows it. You know what I mean? So it's weird that he doesn't come into every game like it. Although I can't complain. He was good tonight, but it's almost a weird quote.
We talk about the same thing with Aaron Gordon every single game. The same storyline.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to the basket? He was great tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't good tonight? Well, he settled for too many jumpers.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it happens.
That's all I got from the post game.
Any other notes just from the arena tonight?
I mean, my first observation from this game, the last home game the Nuggets had was the Minnesota game. And I said to you guys after that one that was the most intense regular season game that I had been to since game 82. That felt like a game 7 winner take all type game. And this game just felt like, any random regular season game that dropped into. There was just no passion. There was no buzz about this game at all. And it was kind of a predictable performance in that way.
We need a great crowd Thursday, man. The Nuggets need a really good, intense feeling for it because that game is going to be hard and it's just so important. Two questions here. One, was there anything on Monte Morris's ankle?
No, there wasn't, but it definitely looked like it affected him. I mean, he hurt that pretty early on. It was the first half, right?
I don't remember I don't remember. It might have been second half, but either way, yeah.
Definitely seemed like it affected him.
And obviously they need him so bad for Thursday and for Sunday, so even just a little bit of a tweak in an angle can kind of – Monte's such an important piece for the Nuggets. When he plays bad, Denver loses game. He was bad tonight. They lost. So that'll be a thing to kind of monitor. And then lastly, did you get an opportunity to kind of check out the Jamal Murray pregame workout? Is there any sort of update on how he looked if you got a chance?
He did warm up for a little bit, and his normal warm-up period, and then he was warming up. Michael Porter was on the floor with him, and then he got kicked off the floor by the Nuggets dance team.
Okay.
Yep. He was going through his warm-up, and then he had to vacate for the dance team.
That is what's important.
Wow. Do you want to make any bold predictions here before you get out?
Regarding the dance team?
I mean, Jamal, he might come back Thursday. He also might not.
I love it. Harrison, that's you coming in hot. That's you coming in so hot. Get home safe. We'll see you later. All right, cue that outro music. Let's get the hell out of here.
Hurry up.
Tick freaking talk.
The game was excruciating, but the Losers Lounge
I feel good.
way more excruciating.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I feel way better, I have to say. I am burdening myself with a lot of negative energy, and I spread it onto all of you. So thank you for that. Thank you for being my receptacle.
Everybody, don't forget, Friday we are at Ice House, opening day. Thursday we got a game. If you're not going to be at the arena, then come to the DNVR Bar and scream for us. It might be an exciting one. We've also got a show tomorrow at 2:30. We'll have some fun there. All right, everybody. Get home safe.
Let's go.